it seems only fitting to begin with an introduction to this camera. And while this will in no way be a gear or equipment focused channel, in terms of my approach to photography, it's this tool more than any other that gives me the freedom to move in an unencumbered and instinctive way. This is the Konica Hexar AF, a fixed lens autofocus 35mm compact camera. I'm not going to go into too much detail on the technical specifics. I just want to touch on a few of the quirks and qualities which make this camera unique and play a part in the way that I use it. If looking into this camera, the first thing you're likely to learn is that it has a top shutter speed of 1/250th of a second, and although this sounds limiting, the Hexar's P mode makes this easy to work with, operating like an intelligent aperture priority. You set the aperture on the dial and it will push the shutter speed right to that limit first, if it needs to, for its metered correct exposure. So what I'll usually do is leave it set at f2 to keep the shutter as fast as possible for each shot, and the LCD will show me how far it's had to push it beyond that. That being said, the most useful accessory and what I'll always have with me is an ND filter. This is an ND8, which is 3 stops, and it's covered in croissant crumbs. The camera has an exposure compensation of 2 stops, and I'll tend to only use this. You can go further by adjusting the set ISO, but with scans, I prefer the look of underexposed film. For speed of use and avoiding blank frames, I won't use a lens cap, and instead keep a filter on at all times, and even with the 2 filters and a spacer, it only extends to just over the length of the built-in lens hood. Setting a manual focus distance is quick, with one touch of the MF button putting you at infinity. Hold it down and you can set the distance, half press the shutter and you're focused. The camera remembers the last manual distance set, giving you a function similar to snap focus with a Ricoh GR1. It seems the biggest appeal of this camera is the silent mode. This slows down but quietens the focusing, film advance and rewind if at the end of the roll. This mode also allows you to keep the shutter depressed to stop the film from advancing until you release. This camera does have a small designated flash, but I picked up this Nikon SB30, which has the advantage of an adjustable power output, and it folds over to be not much bigger in size anyway. As much as it's worth it to carry an ND filter when using this camera, if shooting in the UK you'll probably want to get familiar with a flash too. It's just before 2:30 PM, so I've got about an hour before sunset, and we're heading to Piccadilly Circus.
J'aime la grande ville. La province et les banlieues m'oppressent. Et malgré la cohue et le bruit, je ne rechigne pas à prendre mon bain de foule. J'aime la foule comme j'aime la mer, non pour m'y engloutir, m'y fondre, mais pour voguer à sa surface en écumeur solitaire, docile en apparence à son rythme, pour mieux reprendre le mien propre dès que le courant se brise ou s'effrite.
A quick light check shows that even in the late afternoon sun, The top speed of 1/250th is pushing me right up into f22. I'll get myself prepped with silent mode in case something comes up. I'm whispering, they can't hear me, this is voiceover, but adds to the atmosphere. The way this girl's hair is fallen on the shoulders of her coat, the color of the coat with the colors of the escalator tunnel, all adds to something I'd usually take a picture of, but I don't remember noticing it at the time. I guess that speaks to awareness because it's right in front of my face. Okay, quick light check, f9.5, good, happy with that. These two wonderfully dressed people catch my eye to the left, and I mess it up with a slip that's happened to me more than once. The only downside to a focus at half press over something like a Yashica T4 that focuses and shoots both at a full press is that in the small amount of time between pressing the shutter and the lens completing its mechanical movement, if I follow through and full press before it's had time to lock in that focus, it won't take the shot. I was too eager, too heavy with the trigger finger. A beautiful sight, but I try to avoid taking pictures of beauty that's already invested in being seen. Good to pop off a few warm-up shots though. I should have stayed in the moment and got a picture of this wonderful older woman coming in from the right. Instead I flinch and do the Gary Winogrand fake out. I've started to notice the differences in trying to show you what I'm doing now to what I'd normally be doing as I walk around looking for pictures. The movements are similar, but whereas normally I'd try to keep a clear head, with this camera connected to my face I keep stopping to make notes, thinking of different things to touch on, which Gary Winogrand clips to splice in and what to talk about later in the edit. Brilliant picture by Ronan Gallagher. If you don't know it already, his work is worth a look. The man has successfully taken the attitude of a street photographer into high production fashion. Wow, look at that navy blue cape. Navy blue van with a chandelier in the background, how elegant. Ah, better from the back. There's a reluctance to shoot people from behind, but the cape really made it. I missed the shot here of this couple coming off the road. The colours they wear, their variants in fabrics, and the bright colourful bus momentarily sit as a backdrop. At the very least, these videos will end up as a graveyard for the images I've missed, where I can lay flowers and learn from my mistakes. Thinking about crossing the road. Wait, what's this? Man with a suspiciously wide stance? Oh, here we go. What a wild place to go for a piss. Must be the Heineken, pal. I don't blame you.
What kind of beer do you like? Heineken!
Cool looking people, nice orange glasses, but pretty boring picture. Not husky. I wonder how many husky accusations it took before that became unbearable. There's something interesting about the leg warmers here, framed triangularly between the two shoulders, but I guess not interesting enough for me to take the picture. Looking over the footage, it's the strong walk of the girl out in front that catches my eye. At the time, I was too preoccupied with a visual habit of mine, the well-dressed elderly. The action of handling the gloves was enough to lure me in, that or the resemblance to Tilda Swinton's character in Suspiria. Another stylish old guy. No, I feel like I've been doing this too much. Although the Hexar is compact, I wouldn't call it pocketable. I took a picture here a few weeks back with the Konica Big Mini F I was trying out as something I could carry around, and although the mechanics felt as sturdy as the Hexar, the fuzz at the edges made it no replacement. There was a picture I wanted here. If I could frame this girl, placed at the horizon of the building's leading lines in the middle. The general underexposure I mentioned earlier would need to be adjusted. I'd overexpose by 2 and save that sky from turning everything else into shadow. She pulled her hair back from her face. It's lost its mystery now. I'll leave it. This one could have been good if I managed to get the mom in frame out front too. Well-dressed family riding scooters. Panning would have saved the subject motion blur. Something really struck me about this jaggedly cut remainder of a tree in the midst of nothing but scaffolding and concrete. I looked for a picture, but I couldn't find any way to make it. As much as I enjoy getting lost in these crowds, I'll always avoid Leicester Square. I decide to follow the smell of flowers, though maybe I could frame these trousers with something else. It doesn't take me long to lose hope and back out. The scent of flowers still in my nose, I notice this guy carrying a bunch with the word passion on his jacket. The picture's a little boring, maybe if it was a bigger bunch, bright roses or something. Some people say taking pictures using your camera can take you out of the moment, but I've taken a picture on this reasonably bland corner before just while passing through, and now I know the space so clearly. Is it from the action of having taken that picture or the time spent looking at it later? Either way, it's a space I have a memory of that otherwise would have been forgotten. I can't find that picture, but I'll take another in its honor. Would I want to shoot something like that? Should that be a goal of mine? It's not exactly an interest, but I've seen beautiful pictures by Joel Meyerowitz for Geosander, or more recently stark probing images by Alex Soth for Bottega Veneta. If you enjoy making images and telling stories, any realm could be interesting. Just one quick shot here. The words tobacco in these visceral depictions of cigarettes feel like a relic of a time soon to vanish. Looks like the shop's already in the process of being gutted. This might be the last time I'll see this. Cheapest Lachouffes in town. Keep it under your hat though. While I'm waiting for the authorization to buy this beer, we can compare a shot with the Hexar and the big mini F on the right. You know what they say, photograph drunk, voiceover sober. Well, it's about dark enough now to get the flash out, which is good. It should add to a nice well-rounded video of using this camera. Although this now sets me up for wanting a shot, or a certain image instead of the much more relaxing just take it as it comes. Oh, looks like someone's dropped their glasses and can't see them because they're not wearing their glasses. Let me out. I'm here to serve the streets after all. Good to give back when I can for all they give me. As hectic as it is around here, how can you not enjoy these smiles? Everyone's just out here trying to make the most of it, get their own clips and pictures. It might not be much on its own, but it could improve with what's placed alongside it. In a small book, for instance, those two last images could work well together, each gaining a little something from the other. 2 shots left. I can usually squeeze 37 out of the Hexar. I think about taking a shot of the slightly raggedy bald patch of the man in front of me. Maybe a close-up, fill the frame. Or maybe this handsome young man to the left. Beauty or comedy? I hesitate and get neither. Which would you have chosen? I see the red hat coming, which stands out against a sea of black puffer jackets. One shot left, and this is where I get off. Looks like it's the classic self-portrait for the last shot on the roll. let's get some more film. Do this again soon.